Hello, my name is Monika. Okay, tonight I'm going to talk about how the media has set standards of beauty that are so high and unrealistic that it begins to have a negative impact on girls from a very early age into their teenage years. My three main points are how it negatively affects how girls feel about their body image, how it can lead to an increase in unhealthy eating habits, and how it lowers their overall self-esteem. Did you know that 92% of girls say that they want to change at least one aspect of their physical appearance, with body weight ranking the highest? My first point is that body image has the biggest negative influence on girls that are set by the Barbie doll, fashion magazines, and models, as well as celebrities. Exposure to the media begins at a very young age. Young girls idolize the Barbie doll image that they play with and see on television. Barbie is a plastic doll. It's 11.9 inches tall and has the figure of an adult woman, but her figure isn't realistic. If she were flesh and blood woman, her waist size would be 39% smaller than that of an anorexic patient, and her body weight would be so low that she would not be able to menstruate. The University of Sussex, it's a research university in England, conducted a study on 162 girls who range from ages 5 to 8 years old, and they were exposed to pictures, and it was either pictures of Barbie dolls, these other dolls called M dolls, they're like size 16, or no dolls at all, and then they completed a questionnaire afterwards about how they felt about their own body image, and the young girls who were exposed to the Barbie dolls have shown to have the lowest self-esteem. They felt as if they weren't tall enough, they weren't thin enough, they didn't look like her, they wanted to be her because she was so skinny. The study concluded that the early exposure to the unrealistic body image is damaging to the way a young girl perceives her own body image. There's actually in Russia like a real life Barbie doll. She underwent like so many plastic surgeries. She looks exactly like her. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. In addition, girls are also exposed to media through fashion magazines and celebrities. The sad reality is only 18% of girls reject the media's beauty standards. In a review of 21 different studies that included over 6,000 girls ages 10 and older, of how the media's effects have concluded, the more exposure to fashion magazines that they had, the more likely they were to suffer from poor self-esteem. Fashion models also have a very high standard on how you need to look, and they average a height of about 5'10" or 5'11", and their body weight is between 120 and 124 pounds. They usually wear a size 2 or 4 because for runway models, they don't make any sizes bigger than that. And the weight of fashion models has plummeted to 23% below that of ordinary women, and leading to eating disorders to rise. The weight of models is not realistic, nor does it portray reality. Girls also look to these celebrities as role models. They see how beautiful they are and have set in their mind that they want to look like them. It may not even be something that's conscious, but think about how many times you've looked at a celebrity and thought to yourself, wow, she's gorgeous, or commented on how you wish you had some sort of feature she has. The media's negative effect can also lead to an increase in unhealthy eating habits. According to the guidelines for adolescent nutrition services, 58% of girls want to lose weight. More often than not, looks will interfere with their daily lives. They may refuse to go out because they feel like they're so preoccupied with how they look that they may feel like they don't look good enough to leave the house. This condition is called body dysmorphic disorder, in which someone obsesses over a certain part of their body in which they don't like, and it usually tends to be very small. Nobody really notices it except for them. And this is the disease that Heidi Montag from MTV shows The Hills had, because she is so obsessed with getting the Barbie image and underwent many plastic surgeries to achieve it. The promotion of the sin sexy ideal has led to a majority of girls who don't like their bodies, and may lead some girls to participate in unhealthy behavior in order to control weight. There are different types of eating disorders: extreme dieting, compulsive eating, anorexia nervosa, and bulimia nervosa. Extreme dieting is when one is on a very strict diet and only eats certain things. Many girls may start off with this method by paying close attention to what they eat and how much they eat and when they eat it. Mary Piper, author of Reviving Ophelia, describes compulsive eaters as young women with a history of dieting. They diet and then they feel bad about themselves, and then they eat again and then they feel better. Compulsive eaters usually obsessed with their weight and how many calories they consume per day. Another one is anorexia nervosa, and it starts with one striving to be thin, and it usually begins just with ordinary dieting. Then they become obsessed with their weight and constantly watching what they eat, and they constantly think they're so fat, like they just need to like they start to starve themselves and they're always hungry. The National Eating Disorders Association confirms that National Institutes of Health statistics pointing out that 1 to 2% of women are anorexic, and that is between 1.5 and 3 million women. And most of these are anorexic in their adolescent years. Bulimia nervosa is actually the most common one, and it starts off as a weight control strategy, and the life of a bulimic is just eating, purging, and weight. What's at stake here is the health of all these girls, putting their bodies in danger in order to measure up to society's beauty standards. Beauty standards can also lower one's overall self-esteem. Girls are making these looks a priority and using it to define what they're worth. A report by the American Association of University of Women indicated that for girls, the way that they look is the most important indicator for their self-worth and how they feel about themselves. What about a time that you felt like you couldn't walk out of the house looking a certain way, or that you felt like you may not have been good enough for a certain activity because of the way your body was? On top of that, the media airbrushes everything, that not even models look like models. They have special lighting positions for photo shoots, and they highlight certain areas of the face and they block out others. Not to mention all the makeup that they put on it. I mean, girls know, like, makeup goes a long way. And think about all the stuff you could do on your own phone, all the picture editing you could do. The media does that and like 10 times more. They even like replace certain body parts from other people and they'll put it on. So like it's not even your own body, like you're a completely different person. The media has damaging negative effects on the self-esteem and health of young girls all the way to adolescent age. Exposure to the media's false definition of beauty begins at an early age, beginning with the advertising of a Barbie doll. The models shown in fashion magazines and celebrities seen on television all depict the media's perfect beauty image, and overexposure to this often leads to poor self-esteem, body dissatisfaction, and this may eventually lead to the development of eating disorders. Thank you.
All right, we're running late, so I got to rush a little bit. The contents are previewed well. The proposition is identified, although the phrasing's a little complicated. Internal signposting of the major claims is okay. Thought you did a pretty good job citing evidence. Explaining all of your points is fine. You are rushing in the presentation. I think you go off on some tangents at the end of the speech, so you want to be careful about that. And just way too much reading. And I understand that you've got a lot that you're trying to cover, but you need to maybe do a little bit of editing and focus on those claims. I still think that there needs to be a little bit more demonstration that there's a link to the on some of these things. For instance, you've got a statistic that says 1 to 2% of the population is anorexic. Well, what percentage of the population is exposed to the Barbie dolls? Why are some people influenced and others not? You know, that seems to me to be the key issue, that it's not so much that, it's like anything else, it's not so much that everybody is affected by it, but it is that some people are affected by it, and the question is which people are affected by it, and maybe then what could we do about something like that, as opposed to saying, you know, the more general statement. I think there's an overclaim going on here a little bit. Gesundheit, thank you very much. You guys be careful on the way out. Have a good week.